Okay, so this is a topic that sometimes you may get on the day of your exam if you are really unlucky. Nuclear energy is better choice for meeting increasing demands of energy. Do you agree or disagree? So, what do you think? What is nuclear energy? What do you know about nuclear till now? Have you heard about this nuclear before? What have you heard about nuclear ever in your life?
Nuclear plant.
Nuclear
Plant.
plants. What plants? What does the nuclear produce?
Fertilizer.
Fertilizers? No.
Fertilizer company. Yeah.
Fuel. Nuclear is a fuel. Got it. So what is it producing? High amount of energy. What energy? Energy is in various types. What energy are you talking about? And what energy are they talking about here?
Nuclear energy.
Yeah, of course, it's nuclear energy. Energy in terms of what? They're talking in terms of producing electricity. Okay, they're talking in terms of producing electricity.
Yeah.
So, what are the sources of producing electricity? You produce electricity through what?
The
Water. So, dams is what? The one of the sources of electricity is water or solar panels from sun or windmills, yes. Wind or coal. So, they are comparing nuclear energy with what types of energy? Water, sun, wind, and coal. So, they are saying as compared to solar, wind, water, and coal, what type of energy is better? Nuclear. So, do you think nuclear energy is better than the other sources? It is better or not? Yes? If you think yes, it's better, why do you think that nuclear energy is a better source of energy?
Because it's long lasting. Coal khatam.
And nuclear cannot get over? It cannot be exhausted? Why would nuclear, just think about it, why would nuclear be a better source of generating electricity? On what parameters will you decide nuclear, it's better than coal, or nuclear energy is better than maybe water, or it's better than wind or solar? How can you say nuclear is better than solar? Let's talk about that. Comparing nuclear with solar energy. How would you say this solar energy, is not as good as nuclear energy? What could be the reason behind that? Okay, sun is free. What could be more cheap than sun? No? In terms of availability. In terms of availability. Nuclear energy can be available 24/7, but solar energy cannot be. Sun goes back, energy goes back. Right? So, availability of nuclear energy would be 24/7 as compared to solar. Right? So when sun sets, will you be able to produce energy? Not as efficiently as when the sun is out there in the sky, right? So, in terms of what? The very first thing you are going to talk about is availability. Here, you are going to compare wind and solar with nuclear. Clear? So how would you compare? You will say what? Wind and solar energy are not available 24/7. But nuclear energy can produce electricity 24/7, which is why it could be a better source. Right? Any other reason? Nuclear energy will be used in what? Smaller quantities. So how would you say, I mean, it's used in smaller quantities as compared to what?
It's either भी ज़्यादा ही क्वांटिटी तो मतलब ज़्यादा भी थोड़ी क्वांटिटी का ज़्यादा एनर्जी पड़ी इसको
हाँ, इनको compare करो coal ਦੇ ਨਾਲ. You will be comparing nuclear energy with the coal, right? So you could say nuclear energy produces more, electricity as compared to coal. And then you could give an example. 2 units of nuclear energy produces as much energy as 10 units of coal. So it's 5 times more efficient, right? So you compared it with coal and said 2 units of nuclear energy produces as much more energy as 10 units of coal. So it's 5 times cheaper. Are you getting it? So that is how you could talk about how nuclear energy is efficient. So you compared it with other sources. One is solar and wind. And the second one is what? So we came up with these 2 points, right? So what about the other side? If you say, no, it's not better than other sources of energy. What could you say? No, nuclear energy is not as good as other sources of energy. How would you prove that point? What else is nuclear used for? No idea? Imagine if you have not done this question and you open the exam on the day of your, you open the question paper on the day of your exam and you're like, oh, let's book another. So, have you heard about nuclear bombs? So, nuclear is used for making bombs, right? So, if nuclear is kept somewhere, it can explode. If nuclear is not handled with care, it may get explode. It happens. So, nuclear is dangerous. It could lead to nuclear accidents, right? Solar energy ਨਾਲ ਕੀ accident ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈ? Wind energy ਨਾਲ ਕੀ accident ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈ? ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ ਕੁਝ and ਜੇ ਹੋਊਗਾ ਵੀ ਇੰਨਾ ਖਤਰਨਾਕ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਊਗਾ. But ਜੇ nuclear energy ਨਾਲ accident ਹੋਏਗਾ, it will be very dangerous. Right? So, on the other hand, if you want to do what? Disagree, you could say nuclear could be dangerous. So why it could be dangerous? Because that could lead to what? Nuclear accidents, right? So if nuclear accident happens, what will happen?
Lot of damage.
What kind of damage?
life of
It could lead to deaths and environmental damage. So, nuclear exploded in country of Japan and it leads to lakhs of lives. Until now, there is genetic defects and children in Japan are not born normally. They have some kind of defects in them. Why do they have? Because of this nuclear accident. So, if it's not handled with care, it could lead to what? Nuclear accidents, which is not only damaging to the environment, but it could also lead to lots of deaths. Right? And here you can take example of what? You can take an example of Japan. That in Japan, nuclear exploded, which led to lots of deaths of people. And its negative effects are still evident in the environment or prevalent in the environment. Okay, so this is what? Disagree. And this side is what? What do you think? You want to agree or disagree? You want to disagree. Okay, so you want to take this side? But you have more points. Points ज़्यादा कितने वाले? Points कितने? Your personal opinion does not matter. जेडे side points ज़्यादा ने, तुसी केडी side लोगे? ओ वाली side लोगे, ठीक है? So केडी side लेना चाहने तुसी? This one. So जे तुसी ये side ले रहे हो, कितने लिखोगे? And opposite side कितने लिखोगे? So after explaining its dangers, what you can do is at the end write the line with however. So what line would you write with however? I believe that
short-lived and this can result of
long-term positive. So disadvantages are short-lived and this trend has long-term positive. Not पहले जब आप already disadvantage की गल करी, फिर negative की गल थोड़ा करांगे. Disadvantage की गल फिर आप कहेंगे long-term positive effects on the economies. को positive effects को होएगा because eventually energy ਦੀ demand की हो रही है, वध रही है. ਹੁਣ ਤੁਸੀਂ energy ਤੋਂ ਬਗੈਰ ਰਹਿ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ? ਇਲੈਕਟ੍ਰਿਸਿਟੀ ਬਗੈਰ ਰਹਿ ਸਕਦੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ? ਨਹੀਂ. तो ਜਿਹੜੀ ਡਿਮਾਂਡ ਨੂੰ ਮੀਟ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਇਸੇ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਮੀਟ ਕਰਨਾ ਪਏਗਾ ਵੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਨਿਊਕਲੀਅਰ ਦੇ ਥਰੂ એનર્ਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਕੀ ਕਰਨਾ ਪਏਗਾ? ਪ੍ਰੋਡਿਊਸ ਕਰਨਾ ਪਊਗਾ. ਠੀਕ ਹੈ? So long term positive effect in terms of what? Round the clock availability. 24/7 means round the clock. Round the clock availability and usage in smaller quantity. फिर हम explain करेंगे body paragraph 2 ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ. So is that clear to you?
Yes.
Any problem?
No.
So although we wrote both the sides, but we are taking one side. Right? So what is the side that we are taking? I totally agree or I totally disagree. So are you agreeing or disagreeing? No, you are agreeing. So you're agreeing, you're writing your opinion in what? Body paragraph 2. And the opposite side in body paragraph. So you can write it now? Okay, great. Start writing.